Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I find you Zen-like. We're going to do a Zen deck today. If you are not Zen-like, then it is my intention that in today's episode I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So I just have a Zen deck that has these beautiful words on the front and a little write-up on the back. And then I just kind of go by the seat of my pants and just talk a little bit. Maybe tell a story, give my perspective. It's kind of fun because it's kind of fun for me. Instead of having something planned, I just get to shoot the breeze with you and just have a conversation. So today, let's pull, oh yes, success couldn't come at a better time. The word is success. And here's the write-up on the back. Success is not found in what you have achieved, but rather in who you have become. Success is not found in what you have achieved, but rather who you have become. So this is good because as women, and if you're an entrepreneur or if you're not, but as women, I feel like there's always this, and maybe I don't know for sure, but for me, there's always been this pull in my body, my emotional body, to become better, to become great at something. And then in that becoming better and wanting to become great at something, that I wanted to help other people. And I don't know if that's a natural thing, because you have these, as we go through life, we have all these developmental stages that we think are just for kids. You know, they're in diapers, and then they are potty trained, and then they're crawling, then they're walking, then they're in grade school, and they go through all these stages. And then we think that once you get to a certain age, those developmental stages stop. And it's just simply not true. You know, take your life where you are right now and go back 20 years. Where were you? What were your thought processes? What did you believe back then? What were you doing? And how were you living life? What were your relationships like compared to now? And so I think if we allow life force energy to move through us, we are best equipped to continue to grow and shift and change. And it's in that growing, shifting, and changing that we become successful. I just did a podcast not too long ago, a few days ago, actually, about I think it's the process of becoming, oh, right here, being plus doing equals having. And it is in the being that allows us to be successful. It's in the becoming. But so many times we think it's in the having, because we're in this physical world and this physical body, and we experience things at this physical level. And we think, oh, if I save my money and I get this kind of a car, then I'll be successful. And then you get that kind of a car and you're like, well, it's exciting for a while. And then you're like, what's the next thing? And then I remember, and I've talked about this story several times, but in this previous relationship I was not successful. The relationship was awful. And it was like a relationship that should have lasted a weekend, but unfortunately lasted about 4 years. And it was a very high, stressful, anxiety-ridden, anger-driving, depression type of relationship. It was very, very unstable. And I never knew, and what day today would bring. You know, are we going to break up today? Are we going to stay together today? Are we going to have fun today? Is she going to lie to me today? You know, is she going to cheat on me today? It was like that for 4 years. It was pretty solid. And but now when I speed forward and I look at my life right now, and I would say I'm in a successful relationship. Could it be better? Yes, it could be better. But is it great? Yes, it is. And it is a very loving, supportive, high like friendship foundation. Like, we are best friends, and we have so much fun together, and we have so many laughs, and there isn't a day that goes by that we don't say, I love you, even if stress is happening. And as an entrepreneur myself, stress is always happening. You know, there's always decisions to be made. There's always movement to be making. There's always things going on. And I sit back and I evaluate my success by the dollars in my bank account. Can you relate to that? Is that you? I've spent, I didn't grow up with any money. I very rarely had money in my pocket. And when it was in my pocket, it wasn't in my pocket for very long. It was, I was burning through it quickly. And then big things would happen and I would need a bigger amount of money, even if it was just $100. And typically I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have the $100. And it was always very frustrating to me. And it led to a lot of negative self-talk and a lot of negative beliefs. And some of those beliefs I still carry today, that I'm just not good enough. I'm not smart enough to make this business work. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be successful. And it was a struggle today even, that I chased that word success. And I think it's important to spend some time identifying what that means to you, because it's different for everybody. Some people, it's a certain amount of money in the bank. Some people, it's a certain amount of health or a body figure. Some people, it's a certain job or status. And some people, it's things. I'll be successful when I got the house and the travel and the bank account and or the big TV or the big car. Or I'll be successful when I'm married and I have kids. I'll be successful when I've got a 6-figure business. And what success really is, I think the real true definition is the emotional state. And I think to even go a little bit further in this card, it's not only about who you are, who you become, but are you happy with who you became? Are you happy with who you're becoming? I spend a lot of time talking with Cameron, who's our youngest, about the integrity of just being a person. It's like you decide who you want to become. And in that decision, in deciding, you can decide all the time, every day, you can decide something different. And it is in those decisions that then make our choices that much easier. And I want to become a woman who is a change maker. I want to become a new thought leader where I help you to change your thinking in different ways and to look at things a little bit differently, because in my whole life, I've had to look at things differently. I've had to keep my mouth shut when it was safe, to not talk about being gay, to not talk about how certain relationships aren't really what they appear from the outside, right? That they were, quote, friends, when really it was a girlfriend. And I had to keep quiet when I felt like people were going to be hurt by my decision, or they were going to disagree and they were going to be attacking or judgmental. But in the making of that persona, I wasn't in alignment with then my decision about becoming a woman of integrity and becoming a woman who values honesty and the truth. And as that started to eat away at me, I got to the edge and I said, listen, I can't do this anymore. I have to tell people. And people are either going to be okay with it or they're not going to be okay with it. But I'm going to be okay with who I'm becoming. And I want you to look at that. Look at the things that you value about you and know and understand that you can change those things. As I changed those things way back in the 90s, early 90s, when it really wasn't quite so safe to come out. And I had to change my thinking, because in the lying that I was telling people and all of the lies that I was building up, it was going against the integrity and the things, or going against the values that I had in life, which was becoming a woman who told the truth, a woman who was honest. And because it went against it, I started to feel that in my body. So I just ask, what are you valuing in your life? And in that value, are you making decisions that align with those values? Because back then I was not making decisions. I was lying to my boss. I was lying to my parents. I was lying to my family, my friends. I was lying to everybody who was anybody. And because it went against my value, I could feel it in my body. So if you're feeling things in your body, where are you not going with you? Where are you not going with the best version of you? And today, as I think about my business and was having a hard time, was getting a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit down on myself, is to stand back and go, okay, what does success mean? And as I define that, then I'm going to make decisions based on that. as I define what success means to me. So I'm just going to ask you, what does success mean to you? Because maybe right now it does mean money in the bank, and maybe it does mean a certain body type, and maybe it does mean certain material things. And I said, that's okay. That's okay, because that's what it means to you right now. And as you change and we continue to develop our spirit and our physical body and our spirits connect and collide and magically move and expand, it's constantly seeking expansion. And as we continue to go, are you making decisions that are best for you? Are you making decisions that are best for you and who you are aligning with? So this was to me was a really good one. I really like this one. This was perfect for today. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of homework and a little bit of thought is just think about that. Think about your success, what it means to you, and then what decisions do you need to change, shift and change that might allow you to become that person that you want to become. And I will say again, if you need some support with this, Lady Rising is a community of women support. And if you aren't already a part of our group, please check it out. Go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising. We're in there, we're exchanging, we're supporting one another. We have sister calls twice or 3 times a month. It's like every other week. And really supporting each other as we talk about different things. And so I just encourage you to join us. If you are struggling with things in life that are just repetitive, let us support you in that. So give us a chance, give me a chance to support you, and keep going. We just keep going, don't we? And I'll see you maybe on one of the calls. If you liked this episode and you look forward to future episodes and are really looking for a community to help support you with implementing the tools that we're talking about in this podcast, please consider joining our online sister community called Lady Rising on Facebook, where we focus on that spiritual support and connection, just like in today's episode. I hope you'll join us. Go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising, and tell me you came in through the podcast.